no puede haber nadie por encima del organismo, de la ley, del reglamento y de lo que es correcto y justo.
Terence is looking at it going, well, it's 300,000. But it does. You wanted the opportunity to call yourself an undisputed champion, right? And the only reason you can do that, the only way you can do it, is to fight for the WBC world title.
There was a decision that he took, a decision that the WBC took, but in no ways there's any feelings other than wishing him success and may God bless him.
After the explosive feud with Mauricio Sulaimán, Terence Crawford has been banned from fighting any WBC fighters, possibly sabotaging his legacy. Meanwhile, Oscar De La Hoya reacted to Crawford losing his WBC title and began by explaining why he sees the situation differently. He said Crawford basically told the WBC to forget the sanctioning fees for his $50 million Canelo fight. Oscar questioned how Crawford could ignore the system that helped him rise through the rankings. He added that Crawford has paid fees for years, so this isn't new, and compared it to refusing an agent's commission after they secure a major opportunity.
To make that kind of money, I mean, come on, you're 38 years old. You've been paying sanctioning fees for a long time in the past. There's nothing new here. It's nothing groundbreaking. You had no problem when they were ranking you to fucking fight Canelo. It's like my agent getting me a huge movie and he's asking for his 10% commission of all the work he put in. And then I tell him, you know what? Go fuck yourself. How fair is that? I've heard Crawford say many times that he loves the belts, but suddenly the WBC is the enemy and the ring belt is the only one that matters? I mean, seriously, Sulaimán has to be rolling in his grave. Literally. I mean, it sounds like you're reading a script or something. Come on, you've been the ring mouthpiece and the chosen one since they came on board 2 years ago. We all know that.
Oscar continued by saying Crawford has always claimed he values championship belts, yet now he's dismissing the WBC and only highlighting the ring belt. He suggested Crawford sounds like he's following a script and criticized him for turning against an organization that supported him. Oscar pointed out that earning big money shouldn't change how a champion carries himself, reminding us that young fighters dream of becoming champions just like Crawford once did.
I mean, it looks like that monopoly money really got to your head. This is not the way champions behave. Once you start making money, you don't behave this way. Young fighters shouldn't be looking up to this. Any kid who becomes an amateur dreams of becoming a world champion and having a belt. The kids dream of becoming world champions like you did, Terence. This is not the way to behave. Look, yes, there is an agenda with TKO. Yes, they want to create one belt, one entity to control the entire sport. But it's sad that they made you the mouthpiece? You of all people? I thought you had integrity. I thought you had respect for boxing and the sport. What do you think the Jose Sulaimán Foundation does?
In the final part, Oscar shifted to what sanctioning fees actually support. He explained that the WBC uses those funds to help kids, assist retired fighters, and cover medical and retirement needs. He argued that refusing to contribute after earning $50 million sends the wrong message. Oscar said TKO has its own agenda to control the sport and expressed disappointment that Crawford is involved. He closed by saying he will protect boxing however he can.
Because of those sanctioning fees that you refuse to pay. You know what he does? He helps these kids get off the streets. He houses ex-fighters. That money goes into retirement funds. That money goes into paying hospital bills for fighters who can't make it. So just because you made it, Crawford, and you made $50 million, you don't want to pay that fee ever again? That is wrong. I'm very disappointed. Yeah, there's an agenda here by that TKO group. And I'm gonna do everything in my power to do whatever I can to protect boxing. Because this is a sport that gave me everything.
Before responding directly to Crawford's recent remarks, WBC President Mauricio Sulaimán chose to keep the situation calm and respectful. Instead of engaging in any arguments, he focused on the decision Crawford made regarding the organization and the title. Sulaimán made it clear that the WBC holds no personal issues with him and hopes the situation does not create unnecessary tension.
There was a decision that he took, a decision that the WBC took, but in no ways there's any feelings other than wishing him success and may God bless him.
Adding on, Mauricio Sulaimán made it clear that WBC never wanted things to escalate with Terence Crawford. He said they kept communication open and searched for solutions before making any final decision, but Crawford's actions ultimately forced the outcome. Sulaimán also addressed a major point from the video: when a fighter refuses WBC obligations, including sanctioning fees, they cannot fight for WBC titles or face ranked WBC fighters until the situation is settled.
Well, it's very unfortunate. The worst situation, the worst decision that the WBC could ever take is to withdraw recognition of a champion. And I am very sorry for Terence's actions. His actions led to the WBC decide something. And we did every single possible attempt to find a resolution and to avoid what eventually had happened. But boxing champions have obligations, as same as they have great benefits from being a WBC champion, and it has been a long process which is very uncomfortable and disappointing.
Before continuing, Sulaimán made sure to speak about Crawford as a person and as a fighter, keeping the tone respectful. He wanted to separate the administrative decision from Crawford's reputation, explaining that the WBC still values him highly. Sulaimán also highlighted that their conversations in the past were open and honest, but the outcome came from Crawford's own choice, not from any personal conflict.
Terence Crawford is a sensational champion, legendary status, and I like him, I respect him. He does a lot of community work. We have met in the past, we have talked about it. He has always expressed concerns about what the organizations do. I have explained and taught him and showed him what the WBC does. We cannot do anything else. And it was his decision. He decided not to abide by the rules, and we were led with no other solution or position but to take that action.
Following discussions about Crawford's refusal to pay WBC fees, Eddie Hearn explained the situation using a clear analogy. He said what Crawford did is like going to a restaurant, enjoying the best caviar and lobsters, and then refusing to pay the bill. Hearn emphasized that taking the opportunity to fight for the WBC title comes with responsibilities, and you must follow the rules even if the cost feels high.
What he did is a little bit like going out to a restaurant, having all the best caviar and lobsters, and the bill comes and you go, I ain't paying that, and you just walk out. Now you sat down at the table, you wanted to eat all the good stuff, you got to pay your dues and you got to pay your bill. Now what he will say in answer to that is, yeah, but the bill's too much. It's like, no, the rules are their rules. But Terence is looking at it going, well, it's 300,000.
Hearn added that if Crawford wanted to be called an undisputed champion, fighting for the WBC belt was necessary. He argued that if the belts didn't matter, then being undisputed wouldn't matter either. Hearn also noted this reflects a new era in boxing, where rising fighters are challenging traditional structures, but champions still need to respect the rules and obligations tied to their opportunities.
But it doesn't. You wanted the opportunity to call yourself an undisputed champion, right? And the only reason you can do that, the only way you can do it, is to fight for the WBC world title. So if belts don't matter, then surely undisputed doesn't matter to you. For me, if you want to fight for the undisputed championship, you have to abide by the rules of that belt. But this is also This is the era of the new wave of boxing coming in is going to try and all the belts.
Before commenting on Crawford's situation, Isaac Cruz shared his perspective on how he and his team handled sanctioning fees and organizational rules. He emphasized that while they respect the decisions and statements from the WBC and its president, they prefer to avoid conflicts over fees or belt structures. Cruz highlighted that staying clear of such disputes helps maintain focus on fighting and career priorities.
Everybody knows beforehand what the deal is with the fees and the belts and the way that the structure is, right? In the end, me and my team, we're gonna steer clear of that. We respect what Crawford had to say, what Mauricio Sulaimán had to say, but we are just gonna steer clear of that.
Following Crawford's dispute with the WBC, Lamont Roach shared his perspective on sanctioning fees from a fighter's point of view. He emphasized that while Crawford's situation is his own, fighters competing for a title must accept and follow the rules, including paying fees. Roach stressed that for him, these obligations are part of pursuing a championship, and he has no issue fulfilling them to compete fairly.
I mean, shit, belts matter, so you gotta pay your sanctioning fees. I mean, what he has going on with the sanctioning body is, his situation. Me, on the other hand, I'm here fighting for this championship. So if that's what I have to do, everybody knows that's what you have to do. So I'm okay with it. I don't have no problem with that. And that's just about it. What he has going on with them is what he has going on with them.
After Crawford's WBC situation, Showbiz the Adult explained why Crawford's comments are significant in the bigger boxing picture. He said Crawford isn't saying something completely new, but he is the right person to highlight it. Showbiz shared his belief that the lineal championship, beating the man who beat the man, is more important than collecting multiple belts. He argued that this shows who the true champion really is.
We're going to talk about why Terence Crawford and what he said yesterday wasn't an original thought, but why it would be him who is the perfect guy to kick off the boxing revolution. All right. Before we talk about that, I want to say this, okay? This idea and me thinking and agreeing with Bud and me thinking that the lineal championship is more important than undisputed and all that shit. Hit the Tyson bell. A lot of people kind of got on me about that. All right. Understand that I had this idea when I first started my channel. I want to beat the man who beat the man.
Showbiz continued by reflecting on his 6 years building the war room and boxing community. Even with strong connections, including with the WBC, his view hasn't changed. Boxing has too many belts. He explained that fewer belts would help casual fans and newcomers easily understand who is truly the best fighter in the world. Alphabet belts are confusing, and clarity is needed to respect real champions.
The only thing that represents that is the lineal championship. In my opinion, it's the lineal title that is the most important. That's the most important title. You know yourself, you're the man. You beat the man who beat the man. You're the man. Alphabet belts, there's so many out there. I mean, geez. Everyone has a belt now. You collect them all, okay? That was 6 years ago. 6! Before Showbiz the Adult had the war room. That was 6 years ago. That has been my thought the whole time. And though...
Finally, Showbiz tied his philosophy directly to Crawford. He said Crawford influenced her to start a boxing revolution by speaking out about the belt system. This could simplify titles, making them meaningful for both fighters and fans. Showbiz emphasized that focusing on real champions rather than collecting belts would strengthen the sport and help everyone see who truly deserves recognition at the top level.
The war room has grown and the community has grown. And I have built all of these relationships, specifically with the WBC. I cannot change what I think in here. I can't change my original thought and how I feel about what can better the sport. All those belts being consolidated. We just need less belts. We do. And the casual coming into the sport, or anyone who wants to learn the sport, needs to know who the best in the world is. That's the first thing you want to know, which is a great segue to this. Terence Bud Crawford.
Following the discussion around Crawford and the WBC, Adam Catterall praised Crawford for taking a strong, independent stance. He highlighted Crawford's achievements, including defeating top opponents and being one of the best pound-for-pound fighters. Adam emphasized that Crawford is leading by example, challenging the traditional boxing system, and showing that champions can make bold decisions without blindly following the rules or paying fees he doesn't agree with.
We've been waiting 10 years, ladies and gentlemen. 10 years of the consistent message on this show of winning those belts. We've been waiting for a leader to pop their head above the parapet and show the way for the rest of the minions that are in this sport. And the man that is doing it is the current #1 super middleweight on the planet. The man that toppled Canelo. The man that, for many, might even be the pound-for-pound #1. The man that takes no shit. Bud himself, multiple time, undisputed champion of the world, and now president of the Bin the Belts Club, Terence Crawford. Fucking take a bow, brother.
Adam continued by pointing out how Crawford's calm, confident approach resonates with fans. He described Crawford as representing the true spirit of boxing and praised him for standing up for what he believes is right. Adam noted that while belts are important, they are ultimately symbols. And Crawford's actions send a message that respecting the sport and making independent choices can matter more than simply collecting titles.
Take a bow! You have made me smile from ear to ear, sticking it to the man. Oh, stick him in the bin, who gives a fuck? You're not having your sanctioning fees. I'm the guy. Yes, you are the guy, mate. Honestly, I couldn't be more happy. I woke up this morning, I saw Mauricio yesterday giving it the big one on social media, and I thought, whatever, mate, yeah. Whatever. And then to see Terence just in his car, just cruising around in his car, going, go on, I'll give you a response. And this is how we're doing it. I was like, there he is. There's my guy. There's the man of the people. There's the man of the real boxing fan. Respect to you, Terence Crawford, because you're right.
Furthermore, Nick Pete explained that the Bin the Belts movement has existed for nearly 10 years. Fans, fighters, and industry insiders quietly support it, but few speak out publicly, because belts give managers and fighters leverage with TV and promotion. Pete pointed out that this is about clarity and fairness in boxing, not attacking champions, and highlights the long-standing frustration with multiple titles.
It was just magnificent, because as you say, we have been banging the hashtag Bin the Belts campaign.
10 years, bro. 10 years we've been waiting for a leader, and he's here.
Just shy of 10 years. And honestly, if we could list the amount of people within the boxing industry, the amount of champions, former champions, insiders, media members who have contacted us via DMs over the years, supporting us. Some people even publicly have reposted and supported us as well. But there's a real underground movement in the sport that absolutely agree with what we were saying. But not enough people want to put their head above the parapet, because of course, if you're a manager, if you're a coach, if you're a promoter, then you want those belts. Your fighters want those belts. It's leverage with TV broadcasters.
Pete continued by reflecting on boxing's history, noting that decades ago, each weight class had a single meaningful belt, which drew huge fan interest. Today, multiple sanctioning bodies and belts have made the system confusing. He said Crawford's actions fit into a larger effort to restore value to championships, simplify the sport, and help fans clearly understand who the true champions are, connecting modern challenges to boxing's historical roots.
The game works this way because it's been positioned and designed to work this way. Over the last 40 years, let's not get it carried away here. This is just how boxing has been framed for the last 40 years with 4 governing bodies. Prior to that, prior to the WBC 60 years ago, boxing didn't look like this. Boxing was one weight class, one belt, and it worked absolutely phenomenally. There was fucking hundreds of thousands of people would pack out baseball stadiums in America. Fighting for a world title meant something back then. But over our generation, just our generation of fight fans.
Don't get me wrong. the mob had something to do with it over 60
Well, of
years
course.
ago. Well, you get
Absolutely.
You get the gist.
The sport has changed over those 60 years, certainly over the 40 years, to look how it looks now. This is not how boxing has always been. This is how boxing has been framed.
Terence Crawford's refusal to pay WBC sanctioning fees has sparked debate in boxing, with experts and insiders weighing tradition against independence. Some see him challenging an outdated system, while others stress respecting championship obligations. The controversy highlights confusion for multiple belts and may inspire simplifying titles to restore their value. Crawford's actions force the community to reconsider what defines a true champion, leaving a lasting impact on how responsibilities and recognition are viewed. So, what do you think? Should Crawford have paid the WBC fees, or was he right to challenge the belt system? Share your thoughts in the comments below.